You're just a fantastic high intensity trainer and you are breaking records in terms of session volumes. Some people are like, how does he even do that? Some people are like, I really want to be able to do that. Other people are like, I don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah, no.
It's interesting seeing the differences.
If you chase money, you may or may not find it. But if you chase excellence, it's my contention that will become apparent to everyone and the money will find you.
You know what I love about this conversation so far? And the only reason I wanted to get you on the podcast, Tony, is you're showing people what's possible with like very little equipment.
I always thought like the more people I helped and the more people I touched and I had have good experiences about training with me, whether they stayed with me or not, the better, because they'll tell people about you. I have a client that came back to train with me this March. She quit training with me back in 2013, but had such a good memory of that experience that now that she's financially more stable, she reached out to me 12 years later to start training her again. And so, yeah, I'm a big believer in it's the people that you touch. So yes, it was.
Lawrence Neal here, and welcome back to High Intensity Business, your one-stop shop for growing your strength training business and fueling your passion for high intensity strength training. Today, I am joined by the founder of Sandbothe Strong, Anthony Sandbothe, who prefers Tony. So we'll be calling you Tony going forward. How are you, Tony? Good to see you. Thank you for doing this today.
Good. Thanks for having me, Lawrence.
It's my pleasure. And I'm really excited to do this podcast with you for a number of reasons, really. Firstly, you're just a fantastic high intensity trainer and you are breaking records in terms of session volumes and inspiring all the people in my community, which is so cool to see. I'm so grateful for you sharing your successes. And for some people may have seen, I've posted on socials before, just that number of the volume of sessions that you're doing per day, which is, some people are like, how does he even do that? Some people are like, I really want to be able to do that. Other people are like, I don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah, no.
It's interesting seeing the differences. And then also you're constantly posting these client testimonials that are unbelievable. Just the results you're able to achieve with a hit approach to trading and so quickly, building muscle, helping people with their fat loss journey, just body recomposition in general. And just how happy your clients are to be like your best testimonial is just very cool to see. And kind of where I wanted to start with this whole conversation really is just you have a really interesting story. Like you've come from some really hard times. You've been through a lot. Can we just go back to the beginning and we'll work through it and just get to present day? We might skip a few things along the way or maybe cover some things in high level detail, but I'd love to just start from the beginning. Where did you grow up?
Yeah.
Let's go from there.
Born and raised in Portland, Oregon. I've lived here my whole life. And I had a few segues for like months, but I lived here my whole life. And I've been training people since I was 20 years old.
Okay. And where did so you started training people in Portland, right?
Yeah.
Initially?
At Cascade Athletic Club out in Gresham, which is the side town to Portland. And and that was the winter of 2005, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So and trained there, Cascade Athletic Club. Then went to Bally's, did the 24-hour fitness thing, got thrown out of 24-hour fitness in 2011.
Why? Why'd you get thrown out?
So I had applied as a joke. We just had our first son, me and my wife, and one of my mentors at the time, the guy I still look up to very much, was Greg Everett of Catalyst Athletics. He was a famous Olympic weightlifting coach. He put out a thing that said, looking for a personal trainer. And I said to my wife, I'm like, I should apply for that as a joke. So it was in like December. I applied for it. Don't hear nothing back. In March of the next year, I get an email that I sent it from, and I never got emails through that account anymore. And they said, we want to offer you the job. So I was like, whoa. So I went down there, interviewed. They're like, yes, we want to give you the job. So I come back, financially wasn't in a position to leave my wife and new kid or move them down there. So I stayed at 24. As it is working at places like 24-hour fitness, it can be stressful if you care about training and you care about making people better. So we had got some money saved up. So I messaged Greg and I was like, hey, has the job been filled? And he's like, no. So I'm back on, going to take the job. I'm going to go down there. I'm going to live in my car and train at this guy's gym. So I kind of ran my mouth into 24-hour fitness. So about how I'm better than everyone and I'm taking this big fancy job. And so I go down there and it was just being away from, and you have kids. So my son was like 8 months old at this time, sleeping in my car. Finally, he was like 2 or 3 nights of me there. He gives me a key to the gym and it's like, no, no, sleep in my office on the couch, but like sleeping in my car, it was just too much to be away. So I was
Hey,
lucky.
hang on. Was your wife with you as well? Were you all
No,
sleeping
no,
in?
no. She said I paid the rent for 3 months in Portland and
Yeah.
then was like, that was the time frame I had. Because I had to make money by then because the rent was paid and we didn't have any in savings. So I had fully paid our bills in Portland
Uh-huh.
and then I was sleeping in my car by myself down in California.
But how come your son? Did you see your son was sleeping in the car
Oh
with?
yeah. No, no, no. It was just being away from him was too hard. Like
Oh,
that,
okay.
I was gonna get into like, so we're down there and, I just missed my family too much.
Mm.
Greg was great. It was a great thing. But after a couple weeks down there, I was just like, no, I can't be away from my wife and kid. And, I actually had a friend of mine who was staying with us because we were young and dumb and really poor. We were splitting the rent between me and my best friend. I was like, dude, bring Jake and Kristen down, please. And he brings her down. And when they get ready to leave, I'm like, no, no, I can't. I can't let you leave. I got to go with you. And so I came back up here. I messaged my fitness manager at the time and was like, hey, Jeff, I'm going to be coming back to Portland. And he's like, dude, I haven't even processed your quitting paperwork yet. And I had a full schedule at 24. I was the highest selling trainer in the Oregon, Northern California, Southern Washington at the time. And by the time I got back there, from the time I texted him and he said, come back, and the time I get back, he's like, dude, we can't hire you. Like when I told people you were coming back, the staff revolted. Like you're arrogant, you're this. And so then I applied. He's like, but I got you an interview at a gym, another Port 24 Fitness. And I go there and I do an interview. And the guy's like, that was great. We want to bring you on. I'm like, yes, okay. I got another place to take my clients to. And he's like, hey, I don't know who you upset higher up in the management process, but if we hire you and we don't hit our goal, my job is on the line. So as much as I would like to have you work here, you're kind of toxic right now. So that's when I hit up a friend of mine who had opened his own training studio. I was like, hey, you guys got that back closet. And I sent you the video with my son in it. And it's literally a
Yeah.
closet.
Yeah.
It's like you could touch it with, it's not much farther than your arm length. And I said, how much would you guys charge me to rent that? And he's like, $5 a session. So I would just book out. So I had a woman named Diane, a woman named Andrea, and a guy named David were the first three people. So I took them to this back closet. I had a barbell, a couple kettlebells, and a foam roller. And
And
a
that's all you
power and a
had.
sled. That's all I had. Yeah. A
How
power that my
big?
buddy made for me. Oh God. I mean, like 5 feet by 8 feet, 10 feet. Like if you turn
500
your
square
arm,
feet?
no, 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 no. Like, no, no,
No,
like
I
five
get
feet
that.
long. Yeah, like 5 feet long. Like it was like 10 feet long, the room, not even 10 feet. Maybe it was like 6 or 8 feet long. It was a closet. Like that's where they stored, like they had
Oh,
to put
sorry. Yeah, my math is terrible. It's like very tiny. Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
no, no, very like yeah, like you could fit a weightlifting platform, which we made a makeshift weightlifting platform in there, and the squat rack sat on it and the barbell was on it, and then that was it. And then there was like I could put my bag in the corner and that was all. There was no
Wow. And that was for a friend of yours, and you were
uh,
paying,
five
you were
bucks a
paying
session.
in the way of rent, $5 a session, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But no
And
other
so
additional. Yeah.
nope. And so we
And
started there. Okay, go ahead.
no, no, this is great. I love the tempo we got going right now. It's like a proper conversation.
Yeah.
And were you delivering high intensity training style sessions then, or is this before that?
It was way before that. It was way
Yeah.
before. It was way before that. So the interesting thing about actually high intensity training to segue, um, when I very first started training people, one of the first books I bought was the new high intensity training by Ellington Darden at Barnes and Noble in like '04. I had seen this thing on Discovery Channel and about how they were using high intensity training to train, I think it was Air Force or fighter pilots at the time. So I got that book and I got high intensity training the Mike Mentzer way at the Barnes and Noble out by the gym. And it was funny. It always made sense to me, but I was young. I like being in the gym. It was like the one workout of the, 2 or 3 a week. Or I mean, now I have every Ellington Darden book. And so he has programs that are even 6 days a week. But even then it was just like the 3 day a week stuff. I just like being in the gym too much. Ironically though, whenever I had to train another trainer or like get someone in shape, like a physique show, like I've trained a few bikini competitors, that would be always my go-to. I just didn't have the skill at the time of coaching it to get people to understand why they had to go that hard. Because after 2 or 3 workouts, they would be like, so no, I kind of went down the rabbit hole of lots of other stuff before I made my way back to high intensity training.
Cool. That's fine. You, I just don't want to skip over important things
Yeah.
here. You were a professional fighter for a little bit. Was that before or
Yeah,
where was that?
that was before. I was actually me and my wife after our first date. It was like 3 weeks after our first date. She came and watched me co-main event a show that had an event that had 7,000 people at it.
Cool. And you were
Yeah.
an MMA kickboxer,
Yeah.
professional fighter?
No,
How long were you doing that for?
2099 to 2008 or so. Yeah. So the
Okay.
thing is that the last fight I did one professional fight, and that was the last one I had me signed for my pro fight. Um, and I did that, and then I kickboxed before then. So this was like the late 90s, early 2000s. It was like the wild, wild west. Like you could
Okay.
show up, and literally there was no like the first handful of fights I did, there was no blood work, there was nothing. It was you just show up, you paid the money, you signed it, and you would get people in karate gis, you get people in gloves. It was just basically like anyone who wants to fight can fight.
I think I found it, one of your fights on YouTube. You know the
Oh no,
one?
no, there's a few of them on YouTube. Hopefully there's one that has not made it. I bought every DVD copy. It's the one I lost. I bought every DVD copy of it and I just scrubbed the
Okay.
world of it because I cut too much weight before it. But yeah, there's a
Okay.
few of them. There's a few of them still on YouTube. There's one
What?
from like 1999 to the year 2000. It's like black and white. I got a shaved head. It's kickboxing.
Yeah. Why do you not want people to see this?
Oh, it was a bit more tongue in cheek. I don't know if I actually did, but yeah, no, I cut 24 pounds in a day before
Oh
one
my
of my
God.
fights, and then I got my
Yeah.
teeth punched in my mouth. And if you
Oh.
Google like Tony Sandbothe versus Dan Gordon, it'll still pop up. It's like in the most one-sided victory of the night, Dan Gordon KOs a lifeless Tony Sandbothe. And so when I was younger and my ego was wrapped up in that stuff, I was pretty ashamed of it. But now it's kind of funny.
That's fascinating. Okay, so moving on from professional fighting,
Uh-huh.
um, are you following in the? I can't remember if I misread your bio here, but was your father a big deal in training or fighting or both or one or the other?
Oh no. Yeah, my dad was a big deal in home building, but no, not in
Okay,
training or fighting.
I
Yeah.
misread that. I misread that. Then apologies. Okay,
I
so
always
so you've come back. You've come back to Portland, Oregon. You are operating in this tiny space, but you're in a good. It sounds like you're in a good place. You've got your near family. You mentioned you sent me that video where your son at the time. How old was he? Super young,
was
trying
like
to
18 months or something.
18 months doing like a. Was he doing a squat? Isn't he? Yeah, he's doing a
Yeah,
squat.
with a PVC pipe.
Right. And it's very cute. Thanks for sharing that. And okay, so but you were in a, it sounds like you were in a good place. You were near home. You had some
Yeah.
clients. What happened then? Were you like, oh, I can just crush this now because I have control. I'm not subject to the rules of Anytime Fitness and all of that. Yeah.
I wish it was that way. No, it was actually
Okay.
quite terrifying. It was quite terrifying because I had a wife, kid, friend to take care of, and I have 3 clients. And this would have been 2011, 12-ish. No, it would have been maybe late 10, early 11. Anyway, it was close enough to the economic recession that like I was trading people for whatever they would pay me. And I had no idea how to use online stuff or whatever. And I always kept this mantra in my head of like, you have to give the best service possible. Well, one of my favorite, I still have the video saved in my YouTube favorites. It's Greg Glassman. He says, founder of CrossFit, he says, if you chase money, you may or may not find it. But if you chase excellence, it's my contention that will become apparent to everyone and the money will find you. And so we lived, I mean, at the time, I think I was bringing in like $900 a month. Our half of the rent was like 350, groceries and everything. Like we were scraping the bottom of the barrel there. I mean, it was months of living on that less than 1,000. And then just slowly and surely you do good work. Someone refers a friend, old clients from 24, like, hey, I hear you're training people outside of there. Can we come check it out? And then slowly it starts to build.
Thank you for bringing. Yeah, it's funny how I assumed, oh, it was sunshine and roses from that point. But you're like,
And that
no, Lawrence,
was,
actually, it was brutal.
yes.
So okay, but slowly and surely you managed to grow. Can you take
Yeah.
us on that journey?
Yeah. So I got a client, the journey of growth is like I personally think you gotta be you gotta get a certain amount of financial stability before, at least for me, it was before I really took off. And so I had my three, and I had one client who came in and he paid me for 3 months in advance, which for us was a life changing ordeal. And once I got that money, so I had some money in savings, I started talking to other trainer friends and like, hey, do we want to start a place that I'm more aligned with? Because the people I rented from, we didn't align on training philosophy. So with other friends that I aligned with another trainer friend, I was like, hey, I got some extra money. Should we look at getting our own place? Also better located, like downtown in the city of Portland. And so probably, I mean, that would have been six or 8 months after that, me and a kid I met named Tyler, who actually has his own gym in Florida now, from 24, and my friend Charles, we started a space downtown. And that's kind of where I closed 9 new people in one day.
Oh, wow.
Once we got down there, yeah, it was actually pretty and it was that was when it started to kick off. And then once we got there, it's kind of been uphill since. But
What year did you
yeah,
move to that new location?
that would have been probably late 2011 or early 2012.
Okay, so you weren't in this like small space for too long then. You managed
Like
to
8 months, yeah,
upgrade.
6 or 8 months,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, also
Okay.
the new space was actually super small too. It was, I think, 400 square feet. But
Oh, wow.
compared to the
Right.
closet, and that was with 3 trainers. But compared to the closet, it felt like we had hit the lottery.
And yeah, this is, you know what I love about this conversation so far, and the only reason I wanted to get you on the podcast, Tony, is you're showing people what's possible with like very little equipment.
Yeah.
When people first get into this, they decide they want to start a business, they want to open a studio, or they want to like work freelance, or they want to start a garage gym, whatever it is. They kind of assume they need to have machines. And
Oh yeah,
sure,
no.
like if machines are great if you can get them. Eventually do get them at some point, but like you have other options, and you've proven that, Tony, and we've seen other people
Oh,
prove that too. Um,
yeah, I
so
got to where I was
go ahead.
grossing 6 figures and with nothing more than a barbell, a few dumbbells, and a sled. So no, you
And this
definitely
was in
don't need a
that
ton.
this was in that new location.
It would have been like the next location after, because we got thrown out of that location for making too
Okay.
much noise by the landlords. And then the next one would have been 20, I think the winter 2012 or 2013. Yeah, I grossed 6 figures, and I had nothing in there but a barbell, some plates, a set of squat stands, a bench. I mean, we would take the little barbell off the squat rack. We didn't have separate barbells for like the bench press and the squat rack. It was one barbell that just migrated around to the deadlift platform, to the bench press.
Hmm. Where did you, what's, I mean, what's driving you? Is this providing for the family? No matter what, I've got to make this work. Like, what's going through your head as you're going through this? Because it's just interesting to me, because I speak to a lot of people who have a lot of limiting beliefs about, they have a lot of self-doubt. They're not aware that you can, build a business with such, with few tools. What's your mind? Do you remember how you were? What was going through your head during this time when you were going through this journey? Yeah.
Definitely feeding my family was a big motivating part of it. But it's also so like my father came from the most hard beginning I've ever heard of, and then he became one of the largest home builders in the country. And so I got to grow up watching someone overcome that generational power. So all that, so it's like I already knew the amount of effort it took. And then one thing about my dad, he's on his second traumatic brain injury, and he's bad. He's like doing things doctors say you shouldn't. So like I guess I had such a good example between him, my grandmother, a few other people, that just you were never allowed to not believe in yourself. Like that was just never a thing. Like if you put your mind to it, you'll do whatever you want. You can do anything you want. So like the idea that I couldn't be successful at this was never allowed to enter my brain.
Wow.
And also
Okay.
then you have a wife and a kid. I have a wife and a son depending on me. And my wife was a stay-at-home mom at the time. She didn't work. Because
Yeah.
we couldn't afford daycare. So it's like, yeah, no, I can't afford to be like, oh, I can't get it done. It's like I have no choice. The wall's there, my back's there. The only way is forward.
Yeah. It's amazing how creative you can be when you got a family to provide for,
I know
right?
you basically like some of the goofy shit I came up with back then to make, yes, 100%. You can be very creative.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we're at 2013 now,
Yeah.
and are we using high intensity training methods yet, or are we still too early?
Oh no, no, we're still I mean, that's the thing I always used. So like this is the way
Elements
one
of
thing
it,
I'll get
yeah.
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 And also like, so for me, high intensity training, when I look back, my whole career is kind of shaped by it because the base principles of brief, hard, infrequent training, allowing for recovery like that, regardless what modality I used, that was it. Even when people were buying hour sessions at like Bally's or 24 or on my own, I very rarely kept anyone at the gym for more than 30 minutes
Really.
because the thing that always hit me was the, not the SRA curve, but general adaptation syndrome. Like if you don't stress the body hard enough, so whether you're doing sprints or whatever it was, like the training had to be very hard, and by being hard, then it by virtue has to be brief. And then you want to allow enough recovery. So it always permeated my thought process. One thing it does in my bio is my training is principle based, not application. So when I look back, like that, those things I learned in the Ellington Darden books and the Mike Mentzer stuff, that always stuck with me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Did you notice your colleagues also picking that up, or were they less
Oh
receptive
God,
to it?
no, they were like my business partner was a ex-professional strongman. He would like do 3 reps, sit down for 6 minutes, do three
What,
more reps, sit down. Like his workouts would take some people an hour and a half, and I would have trained 3 or 4 people.
what do you think? What do you think makes you different in that? Why is it that you were open to the learning these principles and others aren't around you?
Um, uh, that's a good question. I think it just makes sense to me. It makes sense. If your body's going to adapt to something, it has to be. Like I say at my gym now all the time, and your body has to think it's going to kill it. The training's going to kill it. Like that just made sense to me that if it was hard, and then it also made sense to me the idea that the one set thing always stuck in my head, or the minimum effective dose concepts always stuck in my head because it's like, yes, you learn this fighting too. If I go out and I throw everything at you in the first minute or two, first round, I may not make it to the second round. But if I come out and we circle around and I check out your footwork and I kind of see what you're leading with, and then, you shoot, I sprawl the takedown and hit with the counter. Like, you always want to have another thing, another arrow to pull from the quiver. And I guess that just kind of always made sense with me with training is like, if we start here, we want to start with the least amount of work required to trigger adaptation. Because if it doesn't work, like there's a Mike Mentzer quote I love. He's like, if one set doesn't work, then you can always try two. But if you start at 4 sets in exercise or 6 sets per body part, if it doesn't work, do we go back to 4? Do we go to 7 or 8? And so that kind of thinking just always made sense to me.
Have you? Yeah, I love that. Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome. Have you listened or read American Odysseus? Yeah, you aware of that? So John Little.
Oh no, yes, I got it. I haven't read it. I have it. Yeah, the big thick one that he just put out. The John Little. Yeah. Well, I have all of. So I have bought in the O2000s. I have Heavy Duty 1, Heavy Duty 2. I have the Heavy Duty Journal Nutrition book. I have all of my books.
Nice. Yeah, I just got finished listening to it. It took ages. It's funny because
the book is huge.
Yeah, it's amazing though. And this has come from someone who's I'm not even that interested in bodybuilding history. And I still found it fascinating. I'm more interested in Mike and the way he thinks and his exploration of philosophy and objectivism and all of that stuff. And I interviewed John Little recently about it. It will come out next Wednesday.
Nice.
Which by the time this is out, it will already be out. And so it's weird saying that. But I'm saying it more for your benefit, Tony, and I think you'll enjoy it. John's always so wonderful to talk to. And what's also really cool is, to your point, it was really long. It's obviously a huge book. And I was like 2xing it, the speed, in order to get through it before I interviewed John. Because I was like, I don't feel like this interview deserves me unless I actually listen to the whole thing and I'm like really up on all the details. And then what I did afterwards is John explained to me that he's now obviously he's got a fantastic YouTube channel. I'm really promoting John now because I really want to. Called Heavy Duty College, all about Mike Mentzer. And you've got there's a link there to MikeMentzer.org, which he and I believe I won't say any more on that, but he runs that. And they're selling the heavy duty books through the site. And apparently prior to this, people were selling copies on eBay for like $600 or whatever. Jeez. So now that he's got the rights, I'm assuming, were you going to say something?
I bought one. I bought the heavy duty nutrition book for $395 from way back. No, yes, they're selling like I was so grateful I bought most of the ones I had back
Yeah.
then, because yes, they're going for an arm and a leg.
Okay, I feel bad saying this now, but obviously because they saw that happening, John was like,
Yeah.
no, that's not right. People should be able to get his materials for a reasonable price. So they're selling the hardback heavy duty 1 and 2, I think, which I've just purchased and I can't wait to get. And because I'm doing a bit of a Mike Mentzer kind of training approach right now anyway, so it's kind of topical. And I think they'll be looking to list the rest of his stuff at some point on that website as well.
Oh, that's
So
awesome. Yeah.
yeah, so people will be able to get those books for an affordable price, which is super cool. Wow, where were we on that one? Okay, so you were talking about how hits really influenced you from the beginning, which is so
Yeah.
interesting. And then I was asking, why haven't others kind of
Yeah.
followed suit? It's interesting. So I've probably just like yourself, I'm quick to recommend certain books to people about hit. So Body
Yeah.
by Science by Doug McGuff is normally the first one
Yeah.
I will suggest to people because that's the one that really changed my life. And what's fascinating to me is occasionally, and it's happened a couple times now, someone read it and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I knew that." And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" Like,
Yeah.
and then they'll keep training the way they were, and nothing changes, so they haven't really
Yeah.
read it or learned anything or whatever. And that always fascinates me. So reason I'm saying that is I'm curious. Did you ever read this stuff and then share it with your colleagues? And
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
what were
I
their
would
thoughts? Were they ever receptive? Go ahead, yeah.
Oh, no, I would like so, like, right now, everyone at my gym, they train hit. That's what I teach them. But no, back then I would all of but it when it flew in the face of Weeder and many of the other trainers at gyms had 4-year degrees and went to exercise science degrees and were like, "Oh, no, 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 you need volume is the thing." And I would train them and they'd be like, "Oh my God, I've never done anything." And I was terrible at training it back then, but I would do a typical like a squat, RDL, bench press, row, overhead press, chin up, bicep, tricep. It would take like 20 minutes, 22 minutes. They would be dead. Like I made people we had at one of the gyms I trained at, they had the Nautilus, the old Nautilus when you see Mike training Dorian Yon in the picture. And so I would make people cry on that bicep curl machine and they would get done and they'd be like, just, oh my, and nope. But it's also, it was too hard. Like I don't want to do that. I'd
Okay.
rather come to the gym and go 70% and be able to come 5 days a week. But when I would tell people, no, no, 3 days a week, total body, they're like, oh, no, no, and it was too hard. And I almost threw up. And in many cases, they did throw up. And so, yeah.
Got it. Okay. So it's 2012, 2013. We're in a
Yeah.
slightly larger location. Downtown's a better
Yeah.
location, closer
Way better. Yeah.
proximity to high income clients and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still basic tools, barbells,
Yeah.
kettlebells, stuff like that. What
Yes,
happened
sir.
next? Yeah.
So I had a woman come to train with me. Her name was Alicia Greenwell. And I do her consult and she goes, "Oh, I love this. I want to train with you, but there's no way I can afford to pay what you're worth." And I was like, "Well, what can you afford?" She's like, 125, $150 a month. I'm like, "Okay, great." How many times? She goes, "But I want to come 3 days a week." I was like, "Done, sold." So she was worked at a firm it's famous in the US called Wyden and Kennedy and in Portland because they do the marketing for Nike. And so I was like, I knew nothing of it at the time. So I trained her. She referred a friend named Christy Ruiz who had bad knees. I helped her. She referred a guy named Liam. Liam is kind of where things get exciting. Liam comes in and I'm training him at first. We're doing lots of technique stuff. And finally, Alicia's like, "Can you just kill him? Because he's asking other people about their trainers and all this technique shit is not impressing him." And so I murdered this guy. He buys in to my training. He loses 35 or 50 pounds in the next like 6 weeks. Suddenly, I don't go a day that I don't wake up to 2 or 3 messages. "Hey, I'm a friend of Liam's. I want to get into train with you." And I went from doing 20 sessions a week to 60 sessions a week in like a month and a half.
Hang on. You went from what? 20 to
Doing,
60
yeah, 20 to 60 in like a month and a half.
from essentially one dream client who just got you a ton of
One,
referrals.
just, I mean, I always tell people whenever he's in town, because he's moved away, this is Liam. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here. And then it was all at Whiting. So it blew me up. So I went from nobody to training him to all the way up to the managing director, Tom Blessington. And then they connected out to where I got with, like, I trained the head of Nike running, the head of Nike basketball. I actually had a Nike training campaign in 2016 done off of my board prezo called Stop Exercising, Start Training. I did, that was kind of the genesis of where it blew up to being able to do like the kind of volume and sessions I do today.
Amazing. Wow. So that was a good thing you did for Alicia then, to give her discount
Oh,
sessions.
dude, and all those people were discounted. Alicia was, Liam was. That's like we were talking on the call one day, and the guy was like, "Oh, the person can't afford me," and I was like, "Well, don't lose them, because that's a walk." I always thought like the more people I helped and the more people I touched, and I had have good experiences about training with me, whether they stayed with me or not, the better, because they'll tell people about you. I have a client that came back to train with me this March. She quit training with me back in 2013, but had such a good memory of that experience that now that she's financially more stable, she reached out to me 12 years later to start training her again. And so, yeah, I'm a big believer in it's the people that you touch. So yes, it was. And I think I said this on the call. I've never turned anyone away for money at my gym. And there've been plenty of people I have turned away that could afford the gym.
You've turned them away.
Oh yeah. And if you're not the right fit, not a good fit. Like you're obviously not looking to be coached. Bad energy. Like if you bring the gym down, yeah, I mean, those are really the two only reasons. If you work hard and are down to be coached, you're welcome at the gym. I don't care who you are, but if you're bad energy, you come in, or you'll just get people that aren't looking for it. They'll be like, they'll walk in, they'll be like, "Oh, so do you do like any like classes?" And I'm like, "It's a 1,100 square foot garage gym. No, we don't do classes." Or they're used to a trainer that's like, "Okay, go get 20 minutes of cardio in, and then we're going to bounce around this circuit, and then we're going to whatever." And it's like, no. And so then you just, sorry. Or if I just shake their hand, you get that bad vibe off of someone, and it's like, oh no, I can't. I have an amazing group of people right now. The gym, it's my job to protect the environment of the gym. Yeah. So if you're not going to buy into that culture, like, then it's like, oh, it's my job to say, "Hey, I don't know that we're a right fit. Happy to refer you to anyone else in town, but we're just not a good fit."
Interesting. Okay, so you're like qualifying people. That's really
Oh,
interesting.
always. Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like many of my reviews will put on the fact that have fired clients. They're like, "Hey, this person will turn you away. They will fire you. He's not about money. He's about doing good work." So,
yeah. Okay. It's so interesting. Why do you think it is that you were able to grow through referrals? I mean, you mentioned obviously you helped Liam with some weight loss.
yeah.
What is it though that enables you to get referrals? What do you think? If you had to boil it down to like 3 main points.
I think it is that people get that I care. And I think that in an industry now of such superficiality, someone who actually cares matters. I think the results matter. Like you guys see this, it's just a frag. Like, the week doesn't go by. Like I got the greatest success thing I ever got in my whole career yesterday. I have a 70, when he posts a review, I'll share it to the thing. His guy, 74-year-old going through cancer, chemo. He said, "I'm going to write on your review what my doctor just said. It's amazing that you haven't experienced any of the negative effects of chemo." He's had 0 muscle loss. He's gained muscle, 0 bone density drop. His posture's gotten better. And he goes, so the doctor goes, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "I've been swimming, and I train with this trainer that does these crazy workouts with me once a week." He goes, "Can I just say it's the swimming? Because my trainer's got a big head." And the doctor's like, "No, I keep seeing that trainer." And this was after this guy had been injured by other trainers in the past. He was very hesitant. So like the client results, the fact that I care, and I think, and this is just my own thing, but I think it's being about a principle. It's about that excellence thing. It's about the principle. And I think in a world of superficiality where everyone kind of swings wherever the wind blows them, someone who actually cares is open with you and then will deliver what they say. If I can't do it, I won't say I can do it.
When you said how your client didn't want to say it was you because you got a big head, are you maybe it's just it's a sense of humor thing and I'm stupid, but is that him?
Oh, it's a joke.
Around?
Oh yeah, no, 100%, yes.
The way you delivered it, I was like, that sounds really mean, but that's
no. He was joking. It was 100% a joke.
No. Let's dig into so. Again, patterns. We see patterns here with the successful trainers caring a lot about clients, and that coming across through every session, getting great results, obviously. And then the principle, let's dig into that. Do what you say you're going to do, right? Which is being honest about what you can deliver. Elaborate more on the principle. Is that kind of saying like, I have this approach, we talked about it already, brief, hard, and infrequent. This is how I do it, and I'm sticking to that. Is that what we mean? Is there more to it than that?
Oh, there's more. I gotta do a lot more to it than that. And it's like, so the thing is this, is that uh it means that when I tell you I'll get you to like visible abs, either I'll go out of business or you will get visible abs. If you do what I say, this will happen. When I tell someone, oh, I can rehab your back, I've had a half dozen people that were gonna get disectomies and spinal fusions, and I was their last stop before they were gonna get spinal fusion. And then I'm like, if I can't, and I've even had people where I'm like, they're in such pain. And if I don't know that I can do it, I say, hey, I don't know that I can actually help you with this. I will do it for free until I'm sure I can help you. So that's what I mean. If I say I'll help you with your back pain, if I say I'll help you drop your weight, you'll gain muscle, you'll get stronger, you want to squat, fight, whatever it is, we will do that, or I will go out of business. But that's it. That's all that's going to
Wow.
happen. If you do what I say, we will do it. And if I have to train you for free, if I have to give you extra days, if we have to do long, whatever we have to do to make it happen, it will get done.
Wow. Fair enough. Interesting. So, okay. So, Alicia leads to Liam. Liam leads to 40 additional
Everyone.
clients within like a month. It's just incredible, isn't it? Like that's the thing about this business that is so interesting, and why it's so much better than every other kind of like, how do I say it, supervised fitness opportunity.
Yeah.
I just did a poll across multiple platforms to see how people are getting clients, and like the number of referrals is like the highest percentage by far.
Yep.
Right. And yeah, it just makes for what can be really wonderful business that doesn't rely on much marketing, in short.
Yep.
So what happened then? So you were did you go to a new location? Like what happened
Yeah.
after? Yeah.
So then after that, I had a falling out with the business partner at the time. He wanted to go his own separate direction. My more high energy kind of training. He was very much a like lights off, no music, just, 3 reps, sit 6 minutes. And it led to us just butting heads too much. So I went off in my own spot. And that's kind of it's in the building where you guys see my videos and stuff from now. I was 2 doors over, and it's a little bit over 1,000 square feet. And I've been there since 2014 or so.
Okay, so current spot, you've been there since 2014. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So longest time, because you were literally jumping to a new location every year.
Mhm. Yeah.
Are you like, are you intending to stay there long term? Is that the plan?
Yeah. I mean, right now, so we have a space right next to us that the building management keeps like flirting with us to like take over and will let us knock a wall down. Because
Nice.
it's actually like a perfect place for what I do. It's a storage unit that just has storefronts. And so
Okay.
we can make all the noise we want. And there's a big back garage for, people to hang out in. And anyway, it's real cool. But we're going to stay here for sure another year or two while I get the people underneath me fuller. And then at that point, if this place doesn't like actually come through, because they've been talking to me for going on 8 months now about taking the space next to us. And they just whenever it's like, this is the month they're going to let us, then they don't ever come to me with the offer. And then I'm like, hey, are we taking this side spot? And they're like, oh yeah, let us get you an offer. And so by the time Rachel and Darius are as full as they want to be, they haven't, we're going to probably look at another bigger space, because right now the gym is pretty packed out and I'm still putting more equipment in it. It's only like 1,100 square feet.
Yep.
And yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Tell us before we go forward, you're so open, with the business, with the money you make.
Yeah.
And I love how you kind of, when I've asked you about this in the past, you've shared like, just how times were much more humbling, and how the revenue you've shared on this podcast, like the money you were making. And can you just briefly just remind us like how revenue has grown over time for you?
So
like against what we just spoke about. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So it's like whenever I came back from California, which would have been like 2011, 2012, for probably about a year. Well, I mean, for even at 24 Hour Fitness, I never made more than 6, 7, 800 bucks every 2 weeks. Or at those, even with because the how much they take from you,
Right.
like a $900 paycheck at 24 Hour Fitness, and also the status is low. So like up until probably 2013, I made less than $1,000 a month as a trainer.
Mhm.
And when I started the business, it was, 8, 900 for the first 6, 8, 9, 10 months a year. And then after it blew the way that it did, yeah, it went. I remember it was a January, and I brought in like 11,000. I think it was 2014, probably was January 2014 or 13. I can't, it's all kind of blurs back together. But it was in
Okay.
January because it was after everything, all the people came through. And I went from doing 20, 25 sessions a week to 60 plus. And it was like, it was all overwhelmed and worked and all that. But yeah, I remember I brought in like 10 and 12 grand that month for the first time. And I was like, oh, wow. And then we did the dumb shit and we spent it in really stupid ways. But yeah, from that point on, it's been like a slow up for probably 2013 till, I mean, 2013 to 2019, I made between 100 and like 180, 190. And ironically, the year of the pandemic was our biggest year. And that I broke over, but my wife had started training people then, and we broke over 200 cleanly. And we peaked when she was training people at probably between 250 and 275, with me bringing in around 190 to 200. And then the last 2 years, I have been myself between 225 and 250. Last year I did 237. So,
Amazing. And how do you peak at COVID during 2020?
I mean, well, I had that was the speakeasy gym. We put paper up on the windows so no one could see inside of it. And we already did one-on-ones. And so I started at one of my clients was a doctor of like 35, 40 years. And she's like, hey, I've looked over all of this shit for me. And she was also my landlord at the time, my personal landlord, my home.
Mhm.
She's like, hey, I need you to let me back in the gym. I don't care what they say. I need you to let me back in the gym. And I was like, okay, you're the boss, doc. And I was like, I called her doc. And then it would be funny because clients would be like, hey, I drove by your gym and I saw your car out front. Anything going on there? And at first I'm like, no, I'm doing FaceTime sessions like everyone else is doing and stuff like that. And then slowly but surely people would be like, hey, I need to get back in there. And so that only did one-on-ones. And at the time I had no other trainers. It was just me with the person there. So, but was probably Portland hit lockdown, had the lockdown in like March or April. And by June of that year, I was back doing like 80 sessions a week in my gym with
Oh,
clients that were like, they're like, no, it's just you and me. And they would do whatever they wanted. We kept them come. They came in, they wore their masks, they did whatever they wanted. But yeah, that's how we peaked. And then Portland reopened. And because we were such a small space, it was like, I didn't lose anything. And then our governor hit another lockdown in like November, at which point the city was done. Everyone was like, we're done with this. And I would get messages like, hey, I store at the storage unit and I heard profanity and rap music out of your unit at 5 a.m. I want in. And so that's how we grew. And I was shocked. It became our biggest year.
that's so interesting. And do you think that maybe the lockdowns, people feeling lonely, people getting obviously unhealthy, spurred a lot of growth when things did reopen? So that
Yep.
helped kind of
No,
boost.
100%.
Yeah, yeah,
And also our spot was one-on-one, like mine. And then like
yeah.
so I train tons of doctors and PTs. And so like I had had the Sandbothe Strong Health Protocol was written by a doctor of 40 years experience, also had 2 epidemiologists with her. Like, if you're going to make this as safe as possible, do this. We temperature checked everyone when they came in the door. Um, yeah, we wiped down the equipment. We shut the gym down for an hour in the middle of the day to wipe down the equipment. And again, we wiped down after everyone used it, and then just shut the gym down for an hour in the middle of the day to open doors and windows to have the airflow, and then leach everything down as best as possible. So yeah, it was I think that led to people also feeling safe. I had one client who her husband was like, I don't want you going to the gym. And she's like, dude, it's Tony's gym. It's the tip of the fucking spear. Like, if there's any place I'm safe, I'm probably less safe here than I am at Tony's gym. So yeah, we went above and beyond on that stuff.
Nice. Got it. And So this growth you just walked us through, was that all referral?
It was all referral till late 2018, 2019, in which a client of mine, Rob, who who has been with me forever. I actually married him and his husband at my gym before a session one day. They had me do their actual sign the paperwork and perform their wedding. And he had quit his job at Wyden and was going to go freelance. And he's like, "You need a website." I'm like, "I don't want a website. I don't want randos finding me. Like my business card is literally just my name with my phone number on it." I'm like, I don't want that." He's like, "I'm building you a website." And little did I know that website was going to become gold in the future, because he built a website, a Google page. And if you go look up my gym right now on the Google page, I'm closing in on 300 5-star reviews with, I think we have one, and it's for one of the other trainers, bad review. So it's like, and it's a BS. You see my response to it. The guy never trained at the gym. It was a fucking, anyway, I digress. But so the point is that it became, when people, I'm the highest reviewed trainer in Oregon. I'm one of the I think I might be the highest reviewed small box gym in the country. Like it's just, uh, yeah. So that helped, because I would get people see that and they see all these reviews, and it's on everything. You got the old ladies, you got the cancer people, you got the fat loss, you got all of that. And so the Google page actually has been a huge thing. It just send them to the website and then they hit me up. So the website has actually become, and now it's probably, I'd say 50-50. We get a lot, the Google page, and then we also get client referrals from friends and family and stuff.
What do you, how right now as things stand, how many new leads do you get a week across everything?
Um, One or two. I mean, the
Okay.
Google page, I mean, the website, or the traffic to the website is good for, it has never fallen below about a new person a week.
Okay.
It'll go in spurts where we'll have like 4 or 5 in a day, and it'll go, 3 to 4 weeks with nothing, or it'll be like a person a week consistently, or 2 or 3 for a week, and then we'll go a couple months with nothing. But
Hang on, what are
averages,
you saying now? These are these people you're mentioning. Is this leads, like people going to the contact
yeah,
form and
yeah.
putting a
No, go
message
go
through?
see, yeah, go and send a message to my website.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool. Okay. Okay, so if it's like two a week, it's like one is referral, one is a
yeah,
Google
yeah.
a website inquiry. Interesting. Okay. Um and given your session load, your retention must be pretty high.
Oh, it is. I mean, so the thing is, almost now, if they hit the website or any of that, they go, unless it's a special case, they go to Rachel or Darius. Yeah, no, I haven't, like we were talking about churn on that one thing.
Yeah.
The last time a client left me was March 2024, 23. It's like I'll go years without having a client leave.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm able to build it to the amount that I do.
Let's so that's a neat segue to talking about your session volume. So what's your record currently in a day?
And a day is 37 scheduled. I did 34 that day.
34, 37. And your record for the week?
130. Oh, for the week, it's like 131,
Yeah.
130, somewhere around there. And I did like 125, 124.
I ask you this because I know you really care about this. And
No. I'm going to beat Pete's record. I will beat Pete's record for sure.
so
And I'm
Tony's
yes,
he's referring to Pete Cirquel. It's 134, I think. Is that
100,
right?
134 done. And he
Yeah.
said on a
In a
call,
week, yeah.
140 scheduled. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Interesting. Yeah, so it's very impressive. And just go through describe the model. So, how long is the session? What's the session
Okay.
format look like? What tools are you using?
Okay.
Walk us through that. Yeah.
Okay. So sessions are scheduled out for most people at 20 minutes. I have a couple that are scheduled at 30, and then a few that are scheduled at 15 or 10. But the average, like if you go to the website, it says one-on-one is 20-minute sessions. So this is where really the personal side, it depends on the person. But typical workout we'll put someone through would be, they would come in. I mean, after they were taught to lift, obviously, but they'll come in, they'll do some form of a squat or leg press or pendulum squat. We usually do an A-B protocol. So we do like a knee dominant leg compound, followed by the other side, isolation. So like squat, leg curl. Then maybe it depends on the kind of mood I'm in. If I feel like being mean after that, do like a one thing I like to follow that with is the wall chair with the where you push it on the knees and make them slide out for a time static contraction. And then go over and hit like bench, seal row, or barbell row or chest supported row. And then after that, go hit seated shoulder press with a pull over or a close grip chin grip pull down. Yeah. And that's kind of the base. Then we do like an AB. So then the next day they come in to do like an RDL, a leg extension, then do an incline dumbbell press, a different version of I'm big on like the push pull. So horizontal, vertical push pulls. And then depending if we want to throw arms or something like that in. So that is kind of like the base template on which I think of it all. But I also have a lot of people on like push pull leg splits, upper lower splits, upper lower hybrid, we call it. So like the hybrid day is I stole the idea from Mike Bradley, one of the things you posted. They do total body and then they run the sled in between. So they prowler down. So so squats, prowler down and back, leg throw, prowler down and back. So they'll do that. I mean,
just a quick mention there, because people are going to be like, how do I get that? Drop me a message. There'll be a link below this video to join our free community. If you join that free community, you can then DM me or email me, and we can talk about that. We've got in one of our private communities, Mike Bradley has been extremely generous and provided some amazing high intensity training courses, which not only Coney, but members are absolutely loving it. Yeah. So thanks to Mike for that. Yep.
Yeah. So they'll do like an upper lower and then a hybrid day. If I have people come in, then we'll also do I have certain clients where we do like a kind of a Western periodization where we do like a hypertrophy, and that would be like total body twice a week. There are people that come twice a week and they'll do like a hypertrophy phase where that's more slow cadence, single set to failure. They'll do like a strength phase where we have them take the cadences out and they take the sets to, zero RIR is the phrasing they use now. But once you start to see the mechanical tension set in, or they'll go to failure if they're comfortable. Like with squats, we have safety pins. I have a bench rack. Like they'll take their squats until the squat pushes them down onto the pins. But we'll take no cadence down. And with that, we might use some accommodating resistance bands, chains, weight releasers for strength. And then for the clients I have that are skilled at, power, the Olympic lifts or whatever, for when I used to teach that stuff, we'll have them do a day where they could do a hypertrophy strength day, and then Olympic lifting for like a power development. And then we'll do like just pure Metcon, and we'll do like 3 and 4 week cycles of all of those. So just trying to keep it spiced up to keep everyone engaged.
So sorry if I missed this. When you were saying about an AB, were you talking about that's 2 separate routines when you say AB?
Yeah. No, yeah.
Okay.
Most people come twice a week.
Yeah. Most people train twice a week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a lot of programming. That's a lot of different variant you talked about there. I'm curious, like, is that all in here? Have you got that down in a system somewhere, like in a physical file? Like, how do you remember all that? I know you're very skilled and experienced. Are you just kind of training people off the cuff? Are you keeping records? Like, walk me through the programming side of things, if that makes sense.
So all of that. So I have spreadsheets for all of this stuff. Okay. But sometimes being able to fly off to like have the overarching, like, okay, we're looking for this out of the next 4 weeks, and then depending on then we fly off the cuff sometimes because the person may come in, they're sick, they're this, and it's like you're not going up today. That's obvious. You're not going to get more, but that doesn't mean that we need to throw the workout away. So it's a little kind of mix of both based off of what I'm seeing in the client. Yeah. And then I always have the spreadsheets and have that planned ahead of time. But anyone who's trained people long enough knows they come in and it's like, oh, you got to be able to fly off the cuff because you're dealing with real people, not robots.
Yeah, like 100%. Yeah, that's certainly been my experience. And that's you got to be able to do that. Like you say, you got to be able to read that person in that moment. Okay. So in terms of record keeping, do you and your trainers use like Google Sheets, like on an iPad, or are you writing stuff down, or you are? Okay.
Yeah, no, Google Sheets on an iPad. Sometimes I feel like an old man because I'm like, I just kind of yearn to have pen and paper. So Rachel was the tech person. She's working on how to make the Google Sheet that we use on the iPad, make it more applicable to also writing on paper. So if I just want to be an old fashioned clipboard and can do
Okay.
that. But
Okay.
yeah, I like the iPad thing too, because you can also like, I have some people and they're like 9, 10 programs deep. And then also for the people is like, so I train because I train a lot of business and marketing people. Like I have some clients that, if they get in once every whatever because of travel. So like them, we keep about records, but it's like, okay, you were just gone for 3 weeks. You're back for 2. You're on a shoot again for another 3 weeks. Like I'm not really that's gonna be more fly from the cuff, but for the real regulars, yeah, no, we keep, and then you can go back and just point to them like, hey, last time you did this 6 months ago, look what you did, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it
Why
also
would
keeps you
you?
funded.
I understand the romantic notion of going back to some pen and paper. And of course, there are
Yeah.
people, many people in our space. I had a conversation with someone this morning about it. It's just quite funny because he couldn't understand. He's like, "Why are people still using pen and paper?" And I'm like, I understand that there's technology that can make this better. Record keeping, show workout progress, etc. And I'm all for that. But let's not forget that it's rarely the constraint in the business until you get to a certain point, perhaps. And there are people making good money in this business with pen and paper still.
Yeah.
So there is that. However, I feel like, do you not feel like that's potentially a bad use of Rachel's time to kind of make that viable for you? Like, what is she actually doing there? Why
No,
would you want to? Yeah,
she offered to do it.
I
One,
see.
So
I see.
she offered to, because she was like, she said to me, she goes, if it wasn't that I know you'd be annoyed, I would put this on pen and paper. She was like, hey, because she was a tech person before she got into training. She was a client and tech person. She was like, I hate carrying my iPad around. And I was like, I gotta
Oh,
be honest with you. I said, I'm actually flirting with the idea of going to pen and paper. If I can figure this out, how I like the way it looks and everything. And she's like, you're thinking of going to pen and paper. I'm like, yeah, there's something about the screen and carrying the iPad around. I don't know. And then the thing, you got to unclick back into it because the screensaver clicks on and it distracts from when you're in it with someone, or you're like, something about pen and paper. Again, I think there's also that romantic element, like you said, like, but she's like, okay, well, I'm going to make one and then let you know. And if you like it, then I'm going to be going to pen and paper, because she's like, I've had enough. I've seen enough screens. She's like, I've seen enough screens in my life. I don't need to see anymore.
that's so funny that she's sick of that tech background. Yeah, like I get it. It is romantic, but then there's downsides, right? Like are you then going to take all that data and then manually put it into a system so you can track results? You know what?
Yeah.
You and I need to probably talk about this more when we talk next week. But
Yeah.
a halfway house is not a cheap one. Is like a remarkable, right? These
Okay.
tools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So the remarkable tablets, there's a remarkable 2 out now. It's like an e-reader, but you can write on it,
Oh,
right?
that might be, it like, looks like pen and paper, right? That's
Correct.
what
Yeah. Yeah.
Rachel does have one of those. That's what hers is. I have the
Okay.
old iPad. I have the old iPad.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if it would be the best solution. I know another trainer in our space that loves it and swears by it,
Okay.
and I think
Yeah.
he did a post in the community. I'll send it to you after this. But yeah, I would just be cautious about going to pen and paper, especially knowing your goals to scale and
Yeah.
create
Yeah.
consistency. But we'll talk
Yeah.
more about that.
Yeah. No,
Um,
sounds good.
Awesome. Okay. You're moving on to coaching style. I've
Mhm.
seen you coach in the videos. You're hilarious in not in like a not in like a negative way. I mean, like it's so fun to watch you. You obviously have great rapport. I mean, I've only known you for a short amount of time, Tony, and I feel like we have such good rapport, and you're really easy to talk
Yeah.
to and get along with. And you can also see that with your clients, like the things you say to them. I'm like, I'm not sure if like all of our members like that should be necessarily coaching that way, but it works really well for you.
Yeah.
Um, Talk us through your coaching style, how you get clients good experiences, good results. What's going through your head? What are the kind of just talk more about elaborate on your coaching style
Okay.
for us. Yeah.
Yeah. First thing I would say is that like they definitely, if it's not organic to them, they should not coach like me. Like one thing I tell people that are trainers at my gym is like the secret to being a great coach is you have to take that wall between who you actually are, and who the client thinks you are, and you have to bring it down. You have to get right there with them. So if it's not authentic to you, do not scream, you fucking bitch, get that, you fucking bitch, get that. Do not scream that at your client. Do not call your client a name. Do not yell at them. Do not slap them on the ass after they just hit a lifetime record. Do not do that. If it's not organic to you and it's not organic to the relationship, They should not try to imitate my coaching style. So my coaching style is like I said earlier, it's principle based, and those principles are founded in high intensity training. But so the thing we look at is we try to get maximum stimulus with minimum fatigue, and make sure that we're covering in between it. And we're looking for high levels of mechanical tension and high threshold motor unit exhaustion. Now, however we come across doing that and the client enjoys, I heard this quote the other day by a guy named Jared Feathers. He's Mike Israetel's partner, and I'm not a fan of Mike Israetel, but Jared, he said this thing that I liked, and he goes, everyone loves to say there are many different ways to skin a cat. He goes, this cat actually in life is enjoyment. So he goes, you're trying to skin the cat. You can skin it this way or that way. What dictates which way you're going to pick is what you enjoy. So it comes down to, well, the client, it has to be a meeting, right? Like I have these principles that we're going to adhere to that I think are sound. They're true. Like that's like another thing I love to say is that correct strength training is mathematics, biomechanics, physics, anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry. It's not exercise science. So like failure, like why we care about going to failure. Like Mike Mentzer loves to say, you have two accurate measurements. You have 100%, you have 0. You can't honestly give me an accurate assessment of 1 RIR. I don't care what the person says. Like you can watch
We
the
know
person.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you can go 100% or 0. Also, we care about failure because what do we need to grow muscle tissue? We need high levels of mechanical tension and high threshold motor units. So we have the load on the muscle. Strength is force production, force produced against external resistance. So what is force? Force is mass times acceleration. So when you start out, the mass of the load is going to be insufficient to exhaust the motor units in 1 or 2 rep. The mass of the load, if loaded correctly and done for 4, 5, 6, 8, whatever, will start to excite the high threshold motor units and then exhaust them, which will show us a decrease in implement velocity. That loss in implement velocity means that we are activating and fatiguing the high threshold motor units and mechanical tension is present. This is math and physics. It's not exercise science. So that's kind of that's what we look at on everything. Is like if for people that you just can't get to go to failure. I think this in the group, and you're high intensity trainers all the time. How do I actually know if they're failure or they're faking it? And they look at like, oh, they're making noise or this. It's the implement velocity. If the implement velocity is flowed, the mass is sufficient to start the exhaustion of the muscle, fatiguing the high threshold motor units, and triggering mechanical tension. So, and I'll find, and they'll be like, oh, that was failure. And I'm like, no. And I'll even videotape for them. Like, see how that last rep, the velocity never slowed? That means you weren't even close to failure because there was no mechanical tension present, nonetheless the exhaustion of the high threshold motor units. So, yeah, I don't know if that answers your question,
No,
but
it does. It does.
that is 100% how I look at training. And we want to do as little as is needed to trigger. So like one thing at the gym, we go through in your first session, we go through exercise training, overtraining. Exercise is physical activity that does not reliably, predictably, safely trigger the body's adaptive response. It is short-term, non-oriented, non-measurable, and subjective. Training is physical activity that triggers the body's adaptive response reliably, predictably, and safely. It is long-term, goal-oriented, measurable, and objective. And then overtraining is any physical activity that exceeds the recovery ability and or, like Mike used to say, any physical activity more than is required to trigger the adaptive response that we're looking to get out of the session. So we kind of take all that, mesh it together, and then with the client's compliance, because some clients can be like, okay, that's great. I still would like to do just a little bit more than what is the minimum required to trigger. And then within the confines of not overtraining them, not making sure, and that's where the logs, as you know, matter, because if the logbook goes down, then, and I've done this where they're like, well, I just think I can do 2 or 3 more. And then the next time, or they're like, I'm gonna go do a bar class in between this. Okay, great. Then the next time they can't match their numbers. They're like, what happened? And I'm like, well, you didn't recover. Well, I feel fine. Well, recovery is an actual molecular, cellular, biochemical thing. Doesn't matter how you feel. It matters how hard can you contract the motor units. And we can see that didn't happen. So like, sorry, but we didn't need to do that anymore. And now we have just, again, it's not a waste of progress. One session that doesn't go as you wish is not a waste of time, but it's like, it allows them to start learning and buying in. And back to the client stuff, like, and that's where when the client can buy into what you're doing as well, I think that's where you get a real, and that's why we lead with education, our gym, because I want them to see it not, this isn't just my opinion. They will experience it.
Yeah, you're ticking all the boxes. So, what you went through there in terms of how you educate a client with the difference between like exercise, training, overtraining, is that all done in the initial session, initial
Yep.
like consultation,
Yeah.
right? Where did you learn that framework from, or is that something you created?
I, s- we all stand on the shoulders of giants. I stole the exercise versus training delineation from Mark Lipito.
Okay.
He was a mentor of mine. The overtraining one I added in because I wanted people to realize that like there is the other side. Like there's too little, there's too much, and so I
Mm.
put that in. And but the actual like what it is, that's my own. I came up with that myself because I thought of what is it like, uh, bar class. The goal of bar class is to do bar class. The goal of bar class, they're not measuring how many reps on a plie, wall assisted plie squat you're doing. They're not measuring how many butt kickbacks you do, and then how did that trigger that? They're not doing any of that. It's just about how do I feel? It's subjective. It's just the goal is to do the class. So it's not long term. It's not goal oriented. It doesn't take
Hmm.
any of these things that we do into account. But with training, and that's the cool thing about training is the workout is important, but the workout is only important in that it builds on what the last workout was, and it sets you up for the next workout to be better.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I try to really get people to realize. And the magic sauce is consistency over time with down training principles. And so, and yeah, and then overtraining, I really wanted to put that one in there because I wanted them to understand there's a negative to doing too much. Because a lot of times, and again, there's not like if you want to go walk, go play basketball with your kids, but you don't need to be in the gym that much.
Hmm. Yeah, 100%. So interesting what you're saying there about, all coming back to enjoyment. And it sounds like you agree that the most important thing here is consistency. And how do we
Oh yeah,
make it so that the training gets someone to come back? Which actually, interestingly, is not something that everyone agrees with in our space. Obviously, Arthur Jones was well known for saying, if you like exercise, chances are you're doing it
yeah,
wrong. And I think some have kind of taken that the wrong way in a way where they're like, no, I don't care what the client's preferences are or
yeah.
what they enjoy. They have to do it my way. They're dogmatic about it. And then that results in, harder to
Them being
convert
broke.
client, harder, them being broke. Yes.
Yes.
That's a more accurate, blunt way to put it, actually. Thank
Yeah.
you. But also like the client doesn't come back, the client doesn't convert, the client doesn't refer. And it's like, well, you're the perfect is the enemy of the good,
Yep.
and you're not
100%.
helping this client if they're never coming back. Like, and I just think that yeah, that's a problem I see. So okay, so given the way you reacted to that, that's kind
Yeah.
of a fair assessment of what you were sort of saying at the start of that.
Yeah, yeah, no, and
Last, yeah.
it's also at the end of the day, like, a we don't really know what a perfect. Like, every one of us is unique, so the perfect
Yeah.
workout does not exist. So, I would rather have someone come in and like I have this one client, Mallory, and she's one of my favorite people to train, but she's not going to do cadence controlled reps. She's the stuff that I enjoy coaching. She's never going to do cadence controlled reps to that grinder failure. She's never gonna do heavy like singles. She's never gonna do Olympic, like any of the stuff that I find fun. But what she will do is if I give her, you did 6 last time, she will give me 7. And then if like she did 7, then the next time she'll give me 8 or 9. And you stack that over 6, 8 months, you've made a meaningful impact in that person's strength, their conditioning, their general health. And is it ideally? Is it the perfect cadence? And is it the whatever? No. And she wants to come to the gym. Like she comes 3 days a week. Well, I think, and once I have to make her a split, we do an upper lower legs. I think she'd get
Oh,
better out of 2 total body days. But like that's what she wants to come. She's not going to do stuff on her off day. She jumps on a trampoline and plays with her cat. But it's like, oh, you got to meet her where she's at because getting progress. That's what they're paying you for. They're not paying for you to sit there on a high horse and this is what we do or get the fuck out. They're paying for you to show them progress. And if your bag is so weak, if your skill set is so shallow that you can't meet these people where they're at, like, I mean, God bless you, but find something else to do because we're in the people business.
totally. Just getting more specific on programming. What do you measure? Are you measuring reps? Are you measuring time under load? What do you look for in terms of movement speed? Can you elaborate on that?
So both we do both. And because, because, like me in my fantasy dream world, on like something that's like I would call we call it a simple exercise or an accessory, like a leg press or leg extension or tricep. I love nice, slow reps like that. So we track both. So if I have a client who goes from doing, say, 5 reps in 90 seconds where they hit failure, and then they get 4 the next time, to me, that's a win. Even though they got less reps, they showed more control over the load. But, not everyone loves that stuff. So we look for, like, and it depends, again, it depends on the person. I hate to keep saying it depends, but it depends on
No,
the
I get it.
person.
Yeah.
But we track reps, time under load. And we're looking for control, period. Like I would prefer, so like on something like a squat or a bench press or a deadlift or an overhead press at our gym, we don't, unless it's specific for that thing. Like I sent you the video of Darius doing the ratchet squats, right? Have him pause the different areas on it.
Brutal
We
to
let the,
watch.
yeah, we let the load dictate the speed, because the thing with the triggers mechanical tension, we need 2 things for mechanical tension. We need proximity to failure, and then we need load. Those are the 2 things that trigger it, 75% or above, or very close proximity to failure. So if I have someone who's squatting, I don't really worry. I let the weight dictate the cadence, because they know if you flop or you go down uncontrolled under heavy load or even sufficient load, it's not going to go as well. Forces transmitted better through rigid objects than it is through soft objects. So we don't let them just drop down. If they just drop into it, they're just going to eventually get stuck at the bottom. And then you're just using, so we coach control, but let the load be the thing that dictates the speed on the like squat, the bench, the deadlift, the overhead press, bent over rowing. And then on all the other stuff, I really do like a nice 5 or 10 second each way. It can be boring as hell, but it's fun. And then we also mix up, like we'll do like the Ellington dart and the 30, 30, 30. And then once they're done on that last lowering, now give me as many reps as you can, as fast as you can. They only get 2 or 3 and they're not fast, but we mixed a lot of stuff up like that way. So
Yeah, nice. And what tools are you using in terms of like tracking? Do you have a stopwatch? Do you have a counter? Do you have both?
stopwatch, counter, and then we have a thing that says the seconds and then the reps in the current spreadsheet.
What says the seconds?
It's a column. I mean, so like you like squats, 225, 8
got it.
reps, 45 seconds, time under load.
Oh, and you record that in there.
Yeah. On the like squat and press, like on the more traditional like barbell lifts, I don't track the time under load. On everything else I do.
Got it. Okay, interesting. Cool. Okay. So one of the things, oh yeah, actually, just give us a quick overview of equipment in the space.
Okay, so we got every kind of barbell. You could squat bar, bench bar, deadlift bar, football, like every specialty barbell. We got belt squat, pendulum squat, good morning machine, winning strength, good morning machine. And he did the belt squat as well. They're tank machines, glute ham raise, reverse hyper, knee extension, seated leg curl, Nautilus S2, lying leg curl, leg press, weightlifting platforms, bumper plates, bench press cage, pec fly machine, pullover machine, chest forward row machine, seal row machine, vertical row machine, lat, cable attachment for pull downs. I think that
Awesome.
cash raise machine as well.
So you don't have any MedX, correct?
No.
That's interesting, because not many, obviously hit studios are about MedX, but quite a lot of them obviously favor MedX. Have you used MedX before?
I have. I'm going to be one of the like few people in this space that's not a huge MedX fan. I actually
my God.
Yeah, no, I've gotten actually quite a couple clients that trained. There's other hit studios in town. And they were, the specific story one of them told us, he was doing like 500 or maxing out the MedX leg press machine. And then he was on vacation. He did some goblet squats with the kettlebell and he was just wrecked all on his legs and hips. And he's like, I never saw the carryover from what I did at that studio on the MedX equipment. He's a soccer player to soccer. He's like, and since I started training with you, I see an immediate carryover to what I do. So yeah, I'm not as big I don't ride MedX the way a lot of people in the HIIT community do. I get it for, it hurts. You feel the muscle working, but I'm not mad at it. It's just, it's never gonna be one of those, like, it's never a goal of mine to have MedX at my gym.
Wow, I did not expect that. Have you used MedX before?
I have used MedX before, yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Respect. Okay. Interesting. So one of the things you talked about, obviously you've hinted at it during this call, is what differentiates you from some of the other high intensity training businesses is you do Olympic lifts,
Yeah.
or sort of strongman type exercises.
Yeah.
But you do follow some HIIT principles in terms of like the brevity,
Yeah.
just hard and frequent, brief, etc. Even with that protocol as well. Do you want to elaborate on that? Because I know that's something that you feel quite passionate about and you
Yeah.
kind of wanted to share during this podcast. So I just wanted to give you some space to kind of talk more about that.
Yeah, I think that because I've had people that have gotten with other hit trainers in Portland, which I didn't know there were other ones, and the dogmaticness of it, I guess, is the thing that I just want to speak out against. Is like hit Arthur Jones. If you read the Nautilus bulletins, it was a set of principles that are correct. Like hit training principles are correct. Like there's no other way around it. Like I said, the thing with it's physics. It's why we go to failure and why we care about close proximity to failure. Arthur Jones read his father's medical library. He was big in engineering. He was wicked smart. These things are objective. They're not exercise science. They are true. Within the confines of that, there's so many ways to apply it that I think so many hit trainers and people, when they think of hit, which also it made me for a while not want to identify as it. It's the super slow. It's the machines. It's this. And it's like,
Well,
there's
HIIT
a
is
whole other world.
a broader
Yeah,
category than
exactly.
just super slow,
Yeah.
though. Yeah,
No, but or even it's like machine-based training that's mostly cadence. Like,
sure.
like there's ways to apply this stuff that where if you take that concept, like so I'll just use an example of a client of mine. He loves Olympic lifting. Before I was applying this stuff more, we would do like 8x3 snatch and then 6x2 clean and jerk, and that would have taken an hour and a half. Now going, okay, I need to see an involuntary slowing of the implement. We can either, and this is funny because this thought process hit like, I'm sure the group probably won't know who much of this guy, but Carlos Nassar, he's the greatest weightlifter in the world. He just posted a video of him doing a 10-minute full body workout. And he like starts out with like 4 reps of close grip overhead squats. Then he does like one warm up rep with the snatch and gets to his work weight and goes right to it. Like the idea that we want, once your skill is proficient, we need as little work with the appropriate loads as possible so I can recover. Like it's permeating out past HIIT. More and more people outside of this community are trying briefer, shorter workouts, higher intensity, and are seeing that this is right, regardless of the way we apply it. Like, so I guess that's my just big thing is if you are a coach in this space, there's a whole other world of strength and conditioning out there that these principles should be taken to and that they are slowly migrating to. And if you can open your mind up and realize, hey, it's about the principles, not the tool, that you'll be more successful as a coach. You'll be more successful at studying it because there's nothing like what I used to do with that guy in his Olympic lifting workouts to what I do now. He's going to see better results now and is seeing better results because the workouts are briefer. He has more time in the appropriate loads. We stop him the minute the mechanical tension comes on. So I'm pushing him for like, it's working better because the principles of hard, brief, allow for full recovery training and close proximity to failure or sufficient load, high levels of mechanical tension and motivated exhaustion. They're true regardless of what the person says. Volume will never be the thing. Intensity will always be the thing. And so that's my little rant I wanted to say.
No, thank you. God, there's so many questions I have about this. And I know that there might be people listening. I'm thinking Mike Petrella, I'm thinking Doug Holland, who are big fans of powerlifting
Yeah.
and are definitely on your wavelength on some of this
Yeah.
stuff. Where I get a little bit, and I'm aware we're almost at time here, so this might open a can of worms. But
Oh no, go
I
for it.
don't.
I got no limits.
Okay. Can you go over a little bit? Is that okay?
Oh yeah.
Cool.
100%.
All right. Well, we're at least finished this point. So where I get a little bit confused is you take a snatch, for example.
Yeah.
That to me has so much risk baked into it. It's just not a safe exercise.
Okay,
how would you respond to that? No, go on. No,
I would like to. So I would have agreed with you.
Yeah.
7 or 8 years ago. There is no inherent danger. So I have a 68-year-old woman who snatches regularly. Yesterday I had a 56-year-old woman. There's no dangerous exercise. There's only the misapplication. There's a dangerous coach, right? So if you don't know how to teach the movement, one, A, you shouldn't. Two, if the load is inappropriate, then yes, that's a problem there. But no, the snatches, there's no inherently dangerous exercises. There is dangerous coaches using exercises they don't know how to coach, teach, load appropriately. So I would have agreed with you until I got really good at coaching them. And then it was like, oh, no, these are like, I have old people do them. And also knowing not every exercise for every person. Like, right. So someone comes in, they have no interest in it. I'm not going to be like, hey, snatch on day one.
Yeah.
But there's nothing, you take a 60-year-old woman who just saw the Olympics and is like, hey, is there any way I could learn to do that? Of course you could. I've spent many years and paid thousands and thousands of dollars on my teaching progression. I taught her how to snatch in fucking 10 minutes. And we used a little 15-pound like aluminum bar. And that was her first workout. She did 3 sets of 3 with a little 15-pound bar, going super slow up into the hip and then getting a little jump and catching it overhead. And then she's like, wow, I never thought I could do that. What do you just do for that person? But if you tell her, oh, no, it's too dangerous for you. And again, if you don't have the skills, don't teach it. But if you have the skill or you go and learn the skill, now she's like, oh, I can do more than I thought I could. So then when I tell her to sit down on your leg press and your leg press is the failure, I could be like, you didn't think you could do that. You did that. Let's make sure we don't quit here early. So yes, I don't think any exercises are inherently dangerous. I think that there's 4 applications of the exercise. And one of my mentors, a guy I love him, Jason Santana, he said, the right technique at the wrong time is not the right technique. So even if you teach the movement well to the wrong client or the wrong time or whatever, then that's where the problems come.
So I think, okay, one thing we can probably agree on then is as far as like the amount of skill required to teach an effective snatch is like way higher than, let's say, teaching a client how to do a Nautilus shoulder press safely.
Totally, 100%.
Completely
yes.
different ball game.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. So in the event that someone's already fatigued, let's say they've already done shoulder work, I assume you're not going to have them do a snatch off. They're only going to do a snatch like fresh, right?
I mean, yes, probably. I mean, depend the load again, the load in the, like yesterday I had a client, Stephanie, she's a 56-year-old woman. I posted a picture of her actually when I first joined the group, the woman who got really shredded up. And we got done with her workout and she had just a little bit. I was like, so we had her do empty bar 3. And what it did is it made her bring everything together. So by the time they're fatigued, that's the other thing. By the time she was fatigued, she could only get 2 or 3 of them with the empty bar, and catch it, but it brought everything together. I've never had her scream out in a workout in a long time. She did 2 triples at the end of it with an empty bar, and she screamed out because it brought everything. All those muscles we just fatigued, she had to then coordinate them in a face of fatigue and do that movement with a fraction of the weight she could normally do. So again, the load and how many reps and all of that are where I would say that stuff comes. And again, most people, she's been training with me for over 10 years. So no, someone who's been training with me a year or 2 is they're probably not going to snatch, period. Unless I've already taught them how to snatch. I don't teach new people how to snatch unless they ask to, which I trained a girl for the state championship. And so sometimes I get people, and I am certified through USA Weightlifting and Catalyst. So sometimes occasionally get people to ask for it, but yeah, no, I don't teach new people how to snatch.
Even if someone, you're under your tutelage, so they are snatching with the best skill, perfect form, etc. At the end of the day, still really high velocity, moderate heavy load going up above their head. Can we agree that there's more risk of injury with that, regardless how skilled you are at it?
So, I mean, I think that would be where we may not, the only thing we may not agree on. If you look at the injury statistics.
We can disagree on more, Tony. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. But if you look at the injury risk on Olympic weightlifting, specifically itself, it's just, it's so fraction of a low. Like all of this stuff, none of it is really, go look it up. You'll be shocked at how low the injury rate per 1,000 participation hours is on Olympic weightlifting.
Really?
Yeah, especially with
I've not seen that data, to be honest. So that's interesting. Yeah.
So especially with competitive lifters. So, and I guess the thing, I don't think any exercises the exercise itself is inherently dangerous. It is and I think when people like how fast it is. It's just when you're teaching it to regular people, it's just not that fast. I mean, it's a slow pull off the floor, transition to the hip. They jump. None of them are just recklessly throwing it. They catch overhead and then usually a power stack. But
What about
yeah.
like wear and tear on the joint, the shoulder joint?
If it's not done correctly, oh yeah, no, I used to get terrible when I was competing in that stuff. I
Yeah.
used to have, yeah, my shoulders ached a ton. Again, once I learned how to, so again, the what you see and what is going on in the body are two different things. If I hit it right, I'm locking out and catching it on a nice stable, externally rotated scapula, and my feet are hitting at
Yeah.
the same time, and I'm absorbing that force. And so it actually does very little on the joints. So that's one of the ways when I was realizing how to teach it correctly and do it myself correctly was I'm like, oh, this doing it this way doesn't hurt my shoulders. This doesn't hurt my knees landing this way. And again, I'm not trying to make the thing that everyone should be teaching about Olympic lifts. My whole point is that there is a big box of strength and conditioning out there that these principles can be applied to. And sometimes you see the people that we just want to apply it. And I start falling into this a lot because what we do, especially if you do like that AB I said to you, it works so well. It's easy to be like, oh, this is all that I need, and it works so well. And I'm just saying for coaches, you know, don't be afraid. That's what I guess I'm trying to say is don't be afraid to step out of the comfort zone and try applying this stuff to something else. You know, yourself first, someone else. Don't have a client paying you $75 a session and be like, hey, I saw this guy on a podcast and we're going to randomly start snatching, or we're going to start back squatting if you've never done that. But, you know, there's a lot of things that a lot of exercise like squats, deadlifts, that people are afraid of. And it's like, no, it's not. The movement is not the problem. It's the skill of the coach to teach the movement. And again, like we've talked about in the past, if it is a correctly coached leg press or a squat, I'm going with the correctly coached leg press every time. But don't be afraid to take some time and try to learn how to teach a squat effectively, or the overhead press, or bent over rows, or throw sled sprints in, or, you know, sprints with like, don't be afraid of that stuff. Because as I saw that Mike Bradley, like I did that, I applied that to some clients and they love it. So, you know, I guess that's what I'm saying is just don't be afraid of like, oh, this is my box. Don't be afraid to step out of your box.
Got it. Yeah. You do strike me as being like super open-minded with your learning, actually, Tony. Like you've mentioned Mark Ripperto, see Mike Mentzer is a big inspiration for
Yeah.
you. How do you like go about your own learning these days? Like where do you pull from?
Um, Let me see. Okay. I get a lot. I've actually the videos on the group, the paid one, the private one have been, I love the Luke Carlson business one.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Mike Bradley stuff. That has been great. A lot of like listening to the HIB podcasts have been when I drive, cause I live like an hour away from work. So like you did one, it
Oh
wasn't Mike
wow.
Bradley, but it was a collegiate coach that I love listening to. You talk
Oh,
about
that was
him.
Matt Britsky, I think, the recent
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that one. I love
Thank you.
anything with Pete. I love this stuff with Pete is great.
He's so cool.
I was doing my laundry this Sunday and we did the Luke Carlson and James Fisher, the
Mm,
one on ordering the workout.
yeah.
Like those, anything with James Fisher is gold. So like I do a lot of learning there. I mean, and then I still keep my fingers in the other stuff. Like I was big into powerlifting. I was certified by Louis Simmons for Westside Barbell, certified through Mark Ripperto. Again, all the I still keep my eyes on all that stuff. And again,
Mhm.
so that's how but a lot of it's been with the high intensity business stuff lately has been where the learning's been coming from.
Thank you. That was not my
Yeah.
attempt to try and get some plugs for my stuff. I was actually quite shocked you said that. Not because I know you obviously been consuming the stuff, but yeah, just the amount of focus you've put on that is so cool to hear. Because
Yeah.
I know that like you said, you get knowledge from so many different sources. Tony, before we wrap up, you know, there's a lot of people listening to this who I know might be struggling in their business to
Yeah.
get more clients. Maybe they're just getting started and need some encouragement. What would you say to those people?
I would say just keep at it. Believe in yourself. Believe the one phrase we say at my house, and hopefully this isn't wrong going, but like we say, stay close to your family and stay close to God. So believe in yourself, believe in whatever higher power than you believe in. And if you're convicted and this is what you're meant to do with your life, don't let anyone talk you out of it or anyone tell you you can't do it, because that's the world hates to see exceptionalism. They want to see us all mediocre and, not where we need to be. So if it's in your heart, you will be successful. And that's another thing. Like I was broke for 2005 or so when I started training people till 2013. Like that's 8 years. It's almost a decade of living on less than $1,000 a month. So, no, believe in yourself and don't let anyone talk you out of it. And you will, it's not a matter of if, you will get there if you just keep going.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Tony, what's the best place to send people if they want to find out more about you or get in touch?
Sandbothestrong.com or on Instagram at Sandbothe Strong. It's a mix of videos of client success and my children being fun.
I love it. Tony, thank you so much for making the time to come on the podcast.
Thank you for having me on, Lawrence. Very much appreciate it.
My pleasure. And yeah, as we discussed today, probably the best place to send you guys is our free community. You can see a link in the description. Join that and you'll get access to loads of high intensity training business owners, practitioners, experts, resources, courses to help you start and grow. And this is Lawrence with High Intensity Business, and we'll talk to you very soon.